Should you guys be paying destination charge for a new vehicle? I know a lot of people complain about this extra charge because it does vary, right? Depending on what you buy. Like for example, this is a 26 GMC Canyon mid-size truck. It costs $2,095 for destination. For smaller cars like this Kia, it could be somewhere around $1,495. Hopefully you guys can see that. And if you're looking at full-size trucks or SUVs, that number can climb to now almost $3,000 or $2,795. So should we be paying the cost on top of what we already have to pay? Everything has gotten more expensive, and should the manufacturers just absorb that cost? Let's discuss that for a second. I found this article on KBB, and it does explain where destination fees come from. It says here, if you've seen the trucks carrying cars on the highways or freight trains stacked with new vehicles, you're witnessing the surge your destination fee pay. Destination fees range from about $1,000 to up to $3,000. I know it says $2,300, but this article is a little old. Destination fees are not negotiable. No amount of bargaining makes them go away. Logic would tell you that if you live near a port or particular automotive assembly plant, you could potentially pay less for the destination fees, but that's not so. Manufacturers calculate destination charges based on something called an equalized delivery. In other words, they factor the cost of shipping all vehicles on the line. They equalize the cost so the fee is equal for all car buyers, whether they are 25 miles from the assembly line or 2,500 miles away. That's why destination charges can't be waived. We advise you to negotiate from the car's total out the door price, including docks, fees, taxes, and registration costs. I always felt bad for people who lived pretty much in the same vicinity of the manufacturers, because you would think that they would give them some type of specialty since it's right down the street. But that article actually simplifies that to make it make sense, right? And if I could be completely honest with you guys, I truly think that destination and freight charges make sense. Even when you buy your cereal, when you buy anything, there's obviously the cost added in somehow, some way. Manufacturers just show you the cost itemized, right? And in reality, they don't have to show it at all. They could just take it and put it in the price of the car, but you have to understand something. The manufacturers are not the ones who deliver the cars. They are using private companies, right? They dispatch and they find people who do freight, obviously hot shotters and companies that ship cars. And of course, they're the ones who are actually doing it. So in a lot of cases, it does make sense for there to be a destination freight charge. And I get that some people are going to disagree with me. And I understand that, you know, the manufacturers are greedy, blah, 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 blah. I get it. I'm not saying that it's fair. I'm just saying it makes sense, because they're not the ones facilitating. Well, they are facilitating, but they're not the ones actually delivering the cars to the dealership. Like, for example, I'm here at Jerry Seiner, and probably about every day you'll see a truck pull in here with new cars. And whether it be a GMC or a Kia, those guys delivering those cars have to get paid. It's just like you. If you work at a job, if your job asks you to work for free for an hour, would that be okay? Of course, everyone would say no unless you're an employer, because who wouldn't want someone to work for free? I, for one, don't work for free. And for that fact, I understand the shipping costs on cars, trucks, and SUVs. Now, let's check out that article again. Now, let's talk about destination versus import fees. Many people mistakenly believe that the destination fee includes the transport of imported vehicles from their assembly plants overseas. This is not the case. The destination fee listed on a new car sticker represents only freight charges within the US. So who pays for the ocean transport? That cost is factored into the pricing on individual models by the distributor or US headquarters of each import manufacturer. Tariffs and import fees. Because these charges cover only US transport, the looming automotive tariff will not affect destination fees. Now, here's a fun fact. There was a time in history where you could actually go to the manufacturer and pick up your brand new car and waive the destination charge. So you could go to Detroit, pick up your car, and drive it home. And I'm pretty sure back then destination charges didn't cost much more than what, 500 bucks, maybe 700 bucks back then. Whereas, as you just saw, they could cost nearly $3,000 for these big trucks, or down to about $14.95 for mid-size and smaller vehicles. So I look at it like this: if I were to buy a brand new truck and they gave me the option to go do that, because of how far I live from Michigan, it would probably still cost me $500 just for driving it home, because fuel economy, right? And the cost of fuel. Also, I probably wouldn't get there in a day, so I would have to get a hotel as well, unless I plan on sleeping in the truck. And of course, think about your food expenses, things like that. That's why I think the destination charge makes sense, because as I said earlier in this video, it's not GM delivering the car. They do have other companies contracted out to get the cars and deliver them for them. So you're not looking at it from the perspective of the GM or Kia or whatever the manufacturer is. You're looking at it from the small businesses potentially, and large businesses, who have taken on that stress to get those cars to you safely. Now, I will say, sometimes transport is good and sometimes it ain't. I've seen trucks get here and get damaged and so on and so forth, and that does suck. And I will say, if you were to damage your car on the way home, that would be totally up to you under your insurance company. So there's a lot of good benefits. And I know that some of you guys are going to disagree with me, like, well, it doesn't matter, I shouldn't have to pay it. I'm just giving you the perspective of how I see it, and I think it makes sense. I've never ever been one to fight dealerships on destination charges. And here's what I'll tell you: some dealers are dirty when it comes down to destination fees. I remember one time I was buying my wife a car. It was right around the time when I got out of the car business, and I went to a dealership. They didn't know who I was, and they basically tacked on destination charges on a used car. So I was buying her a new car, but it was really a used car, and they were like showing me destination fees, and I'm like, who in the heck pays destination fees on a used car? And I will say, these are the types of dealerships that I will 100% avoid at all costs, because that's just stupid. You should never pay destination charges twice on a car. Some dealerships will act like they took out the destination charge and then add it back in on the discount. And again, I will tell you, if you see that, walk away from the deal and do not buy from a dealership like that. I would say always work with dealerships that show you a discounted price with the rebates, all of that itemized. That way you know exactly the price you're getting, and if you do qualify for the rebates. And that's a good way to negotiate. In a lot of cases, you could buy a brand new car and get $7,000 off. Like I did a video a few weeks ago on GMC Sierra 3500 Denali's, where you can get nearly $10,000 off. And in a lot of cases, you can justify that you basically got destination charge wiped away. So I hope this video is helpful. One last thing to mention too is, I personally don't like documentation fees, and I will ask a dealer, will they waive it, right? Especially when it's over $1,000. If it's $499, as long as I'm getting a discount on the car, sometimes I overlook it, but for the most part, I do not like documentation fees. And sometimes a dealership does have the option to have a documentation fee by the state. So they have a state maximum that you can basically charge a customer. So I would say that those are really good fees to try to negotiate down, right? Those are the ones that really do hit you in the pocket in a lot of cases. So hope this video was helpful again. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. See you soon. Since you stayed to the end, I want to show you guys this chart showing you the increase for the destination charge from 2015 to 2025. So you guys can see it was a 2 to 3% increase from 2015, well, from 2016 till 2017, but 2018, 8% increase. And again, in 2025, another almost 9% increase. So definitely has a big effect on the price of these vehicles, you know, when you think back to 2015. And I want to clarify this too. They cannot hide the destination charge. By law, they do have to show that. So I wanted to make sure I put that in the video so I didn't mislead you there. So all in all, there is a reason why you see that number on the window stickers today.